Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family. We chose this one. This is episode 325, Life in the Fast Lane, number 19 for Too Fast, Too Furious, minute 94. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe, too.
And Joe, for the first time in several minutes, we actually have action in this minute, and I am so excited that they're not just standing around in a Texas showdown, you know, like staring at each other, menacing. Like, things happen, and I am so excited.
Things happen, but not much.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. So let's play the minute.
Okay.
End of the road. You know I like you, but I still gotta kill you. It's my job. What's that? What's that?
It's Barstow, baby! It's about to get ugly!
Let's go. Let's go.
I messaged you, and I was just like, look, I don't know if you did the minute yet. A lot happens, but I don't know if there's anything for you to find. Because, like, for the plot and overview, like, in past minutes, it was, like, 3 bullets. It was, like, 4 bullets. It was, like, 3 bullets.
Yeah.
It was, like, you know, it's just them, like, Carter does this.
Carter
Monica
looks at
stares.
Monica.
Brian does nothing. It's like this. There's, like, I have 8 bullets. I'm just like, oh, so much happens. But I'm just like, it's just people, like, driving. But, okay.
Driving and wrecking a car. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Carter and some of his men continue to escort Monica to his boat. Enrique and Brian slowly drive away, followed by an SUV driven by another henchman. Enrique pulls a gun on Brian regrettably, as he likes Brian, but must do his job. Brian smashes the ejectocito button to try to save himself, albeit unsuccessfully. Roman zooms into action, driving up the road and crashing his car into the SUV. Using the car crash as a distraction, Brian wrestles the gun from Enrique as several shots ring out, piercing the windshield. Hearing the gunfire, Carter tells his men to get going and the boat begins to sail off. Roman jumps out of his car through the driver's side window and grabs Carter's henchman from the SUV, throwing him onto his car and punching him in the stomach as the minute ends. And I was like, there's so much excitement. And then I'm like, there's no new clothing. There's no new music.
There's no new
characters.
Things, no new cars.
It's just like,
everything's the same.
But things happen, which is exciting.
Yes.
My big question to you, though, Joe.
Yes.
How does Roman hear Enrique ask, what's that?
The walkie-talkie.
But is the walkie, it's just set to on? Like, nobody's touching it. We see the walkie-talkie, but it's not like Brian has the button depressed. Because here's the other thing. The way a walkie-talkie works is if you're pressing the button in, you can't hear them. It's only a one-way thing. You can't push the button in and talk and hear them.
Yes.
Because in this minute,
we've
Brian's
seen them.
clicking the button.
First of all, we've seen them have conversations between each other in the cars that they didn't even have walkie-talkies in. Uh-huh. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here.
Look, I know in the next minute or two they're going to fly a car onto a boat. I get that. This just feels more impossible.
This is a good point and something I wasn't thinking about. Because as I was watching it, I was actually trying to see like what kind of walkie-talkie it was, because he has it in the cup holder, and I found
you figured out something. Okay,
no, it's similar to like one. I can't find that exact one because like there's not a model number, but it's like yellow Motorola walkie-talkie. So I found one that is like, I'm sure it's another iteration, like very very one generation off of this one. Like the buttons, the everything layout, everything kind of looks the same. I was hung up because when I was watching that, the way that the glass breaks is in no fashion anywhere near where the gun is being pointed.
Oh.
So
okay.
if you rewatch that, there's 3 holes that are like right in front of Brian, and the gun is pointing like across Brian's face. Like he would be like shooting Brian's nose off, but the bullets go through the windshield directly in front of Brian.
Not great. Like that's weird. I mean, so like Brian's clicking the button. Enrique says, what's that? And then Roman says, it's Barstow, baby.
Yeah, he claims Barstow again. Yeah.
But there's no way, I don't know. I was just like, huh. And like, that wasn't a thing that like sometimes when we watch this minute like 9 or 10 or 11 times in a row, whatever, and it's like, oh, you finally noticed a thing. But this is like on like watch 2 or 3 of the minute, I'm just like, wait a minute.
How does he hear this guy?
Possible.
He's 20 feet behind him, driving fast in a car at him.
So now here's a question that you probably, and we're going to find out in a minute or two, and I don't really want to like, this is just like a memory thing, but like both of their cars, both Brian and Roman's cars are in pretty rough shape. Like Roman, crashes headfirst into the SUV. Brian's windshield riddled with bullet holes that aren't where they're supposed to be. Whose car do they fly onto the boat? Is it Brian? It's got to be Brian's car, right?
I think it's Brian's car. I think the blue one lands on the boat, yes.
Oh, look at you describing cars as colors.
No, I was trying to mentally visualize which car lands on the boat,
helpful.
And it's not orange.
It's helpful.
At least in my brain. Like when I see the car land on the boat, because we haven't watched that minute yet.
Right.
In my mind's eye, I see the blue car.
Is there anything else that you notice? Because again, like 8 bullet points of action, a couple, things, but like, is there anything of note here that you noticed?
My favorite thing that I noticed that is very inconsequential is that they pass a dilapidated school bus.
Okay.
That Roman drives by that, and I was just thinking the whole time, and I think it might be an interesting title for the minute. Think of the children. No, think of the children.
Okay. Sure.
Because they passed this school bus that's just like abandoned there, and I was like, why is there a school bus? And we know the whole Jimbo's Shrimp Shack story, Jimbo's, the Shrimp Shack story. So like, why did that has to be one of the like shanties that one of these homeless crackheads lived in?
Probably.
Yeah. So
that's a good name for the minute, because like there's lines in here like it's Barstow, but that's too obvious. Like
it's way too it's way too obvious. I like think of the children. It means nothing.
So with the minute now titled, do we have a question? Because there are at least 4. Like we hear 5 bullet shots, but there's 4 that we see when Brian's wrestling with Enrique in the car, and then we cut to Carter, and there's another one, but we don't know if it's one of the 4 or a 5th one. But like, it's not really like there's not a clear number of shots. There's at least 4 gunshots.
I like that's if you want to go number wise. I like gunshots through the windshield.
We've done a lot of numbers recently, though.
We've done too many numbers. I was gonna make something about the school bus, like what abandoned vehicle, because we're in the vehicle's lap. Like what abandoned vehicle do they drive by, and we could be like abandoned camper, abandoned school bus.
Okay, that's fine.
And then it's less, and we have a little clue in the title that can tie into it. Because I always, when I take the quiz, I know that there's plenty of times that like I take the quiz, do the answer, and it's like Brian's magic school bus, and then it's like, what did you pass? And it's like a school bus, and I'm like, motherfuck, I didn't read the title of the minute, and we gave it away.
This is kind of the thing where it's like you read all the questions before you answer any of them, because I'm going to say, what type of abandoned vehicle could be found at Tarpon Point when Roman saves Brian from Enrique? And there's an earlier question we have, which is, where do they go? They go to Tarpon Point. So like, if you keep read all the questions,
good job, bud. I like that. You're right. Yes.
So
I think that also then just makes it harder because you go back, you forget what you were looking for, your brain gets all scrambled, at least for me, but my brain's mush anyways. Oh, this is good. I like your answers. Oh, I see Joey typing them.
So they're 4 kind of big vehicles, right? They're similar.
Yeah.
Food truck, Greyhound bus, which you're like, I know it's a bus. Is it a Greyhound bus? RV or school bus? The answer is school bus.
Yeah.
But it's not like,
a
motorcycle or a car or whatever. Yeah, right. It's just like, it was a big thing that serves a specific purpose.
Well, there's like a shack too. So like the camper thing, like RV/camper trailer. Can we do maybe add trailer or change RV to trailer?
I'll do a 5th one.
What do you think?
You like a trailer like a camper? I mean, it doesn't matter, but I'm just
yeah,
curious.
Like camper. That's what I'm thinking, because there's like kind of a shack there. But that's not, it's like we say what abandoned vehicle.
Minute 94, think of the children. What type of abandoned vehicle can be found at Tarpon Point when Roman saves Brian from Enrique? The answer, of course, think of the children. The school bus. I said schoolhound bus. School bus. Schoolhouse rock. Yeah.
Yes. Schoolhouse
But again, I was
rock.
just like, oh my God, there's so many things that happen. I'm like, wait a minute. Nothing actually, things happen, but it's like.
Nothing actually happens. That the car jump onto the thing is going to be actual action, and if it's not and I just remember it, I'm going to be sad.
Well, we only have like 6-ish minutes of the movie left, and we got to have them go onto the boat. We have to have them,
pockets ain't empty because
show up and do I think that's also the charm of this podcast, where we're complaining, we're like, nothing happens. And then, like, in a year, right, as we figured out, when we start Tokyo Drift, we're going to be like, there's so much stuff. There's too much stuff. I don't want to spend an hour on it.
That's going to be, like, incredibly...
We're going to complain either way. It's just that for now, it's just
complaining.
Like, there's nothing happening.
Always complaining.
Anyway, good question. Good minute. All right. Joe, on the streets, news about the Fast and Furious. Have you seen anything in the last 3 weeks about these movies?
Oh, yes. I have a very important news from this morning.
This morning, breaking news.
Breaking news.
We're recording a little bit early, so if Wes is like, I didn't send this then.
No. Wes said he has official Fast and the Furious breaking news. He had a dream last night that he met Eva Mendes, and he asked her if she would consider coming back to the franchise.
So not be on the podcast, but being in the movies again.
Yes. With no hesitation, she answered no. After he replied, "That's okay, I understand, but people do really want to see you back before the end," she whispered something in my ear about, "Who do you think was hiding Giselle?" Whoa. And some other stuff I can't remember exactly. But basically, she said Monica's been undercover and would be coming back. So I just wanted to let everyone know that it's confirmed by Dreve Eva Mendes that Monica Fuentes is coming back for the next movie.
Sweet. Confirmed. Thank you, Wes's dream.
Thank you, Wes's dream. I said you had a dream about Eva Mendes that was absolutely asexual in nature.
No,
and you asked her about, harassed her.
Like, how do I tell Mrs. West that I was dreaming about Eva Mendes? I got it. Actually, no.
I think that this is like...
Wes was definitely dreaming about Fast and Furious. I know that. I understand that.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So you have a dream about one of the most gorgeous women on the planet, and you were like, are you going to be back in the Fast and the Furious movies? And she's like, yes. And you're like, okay. Yeah.
Pretty good.
That's my news. Did you see any news recently, brother?
So the world is on fire right now.
How about yours? What?
Well, yes, but everyone... So I was thinking about this, like, why does this keep happening? Is it because, like, 5 of the biggest stars in the world, are in these movies now? But, so there was the wildfire in Maui.
Yes,
so
yes.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson addresses Maui fund backlash. I get it, and I completely understand.
Wait, what? So he started a fund and they're mad at him about it?
He was acknowledging the backlash he received after he and Oprah asked the public to donate to a wildlife recovery fund.
How do you feel about this? Can we talk about this morally? Celebrities being like, hey guys, donate $5 to this thing. I think that I don't have any problems with this. They're generating awareness for a cause that they believe in. Unless, like, The Rock is stealing this money and starting a fake university and pocketing all the money from it or something like that, then I have no problems with you being like, I believe in this cause, I gave some money, you should also donate some money if you can.
He said, money ain't falling out of the sky and it's not growing on trees. There's a lot of people out there living paycheck to paycheck. I get it. I know what that's like. The last thing you want to hear in that situation is someone asking for money, especially when that person asking you for money already has a lot of money.
He has a point, and he would know too, because I mean, like, we've seen $7, the young Rock, like he's been broke as shit. So,
I mean, I think it's fine. I would also say in that situation, like, I'm giving $1 million. If you could give $2 million, that'd be fine. Or like, I'll match public donations up to $1 million. Like anything. That
yeah,
like,
up to $250,000.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give $1 too. Whatever. That's absolutely. I respect all of these. He doesn't even actually if it came out that he never gave any money and was just like tweeting about this, I would be like, that's kind of sus.
Right.
But like any other action comparison about this doesn't matter to me. It's fine.
Because like, there's also the thing where it's like, you have a platform to like let people, like, people probably didn't even know there was a wildfire in Maui until The Rock tweets about it or whatever.
That's what
right?
I'm saying.
It's just
that's
like,
what I think. Yeah.
Do this. It's also the kind of thing where it's like, there's never going to be a time where everyone who follows The Rock on Instagram or whatever is like,
we're all in
wealthy.
Agreement.
Or no, not even that. I'm just like, where they're going to all be like, oh, now I finally, like, the world is good now and I can finally donate money to help people. It's just like, no, like, there's always people who need money. There's always people who don't have money. Don't get mad at The Rock for trying to whatever,
Yeah.
You can get mad at The Rock for all sorts of things.
All kinds of things. A lot of things.
Then, Gal Gadot, Gigi Hadid, Kim Kardashian support Israel amid horrific Palestinian conflict. Gal Gadot, very pro
Apartheid Barbie.
Has been very vocal about what's going on in Israel right now, which we don't have to go. But I'm just like, so every morning
when you wake up and you've hit me twice today. Sorry.
I check Bing just to get my Bing rewards points, and there's always I just check like the news because it's just like it's easy thing to click through.
Yeah.
And like the same day it was like The Rock in trouble, Gal Gadot saying stuff. I'm just like, what? Like back to back.
You're like, where's Gina Carano at when we need her?
I know, again.
Does she have some thoughts on this? Where's Jaw at?
Another thing that I saw was Idris Elba says he's been in therapy to address, quote, unhealthy habits as a workaholic.
I assumed from, as soon as you started saying that sentence that he was going to be like, I just need to go to sex rehab like Usher. Like, I just have way too much sex with way too many partners. Woe is me.
David Duchovny also did that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you're like, oh, you're so handsome and beautiful, and everybody lust after you all the time. How painful that must be. Sorry.
No, I was like, is he going to
rehab?
Does he have a problem with alcohol?
Yes, yeah.
It's just I work too much, which is a real thing, but just oh, okay. He also talked about it on a podcast, right? So he loves to work, man.
Cool.
So that's that.
Yeah.
Again, this is the writer strike is over, the actor strike is still going on, so things are kind of getting back to normal, but there's still no news. John Cena, quote, violated Dwayne Johnson's trust during feud over move to Hollywood. Quote, I 100% see and understand why people think I did the same thing.
Wait, what?
So Cena said his beef with Johnson was fueled by his anger over Johnson abandoning the WWE to become an A-list actor,
which is exactly what he eventually does.
John Cena would do.
Yes. So what?
Cena admitted in May he was, quote, short-sighted and selfish in the feud and said, I quote, 100% see and understand how people see him as a hypocrite for calling out Johnson and following in his footsteps, which is, kind of funny.
Yeah, you were jealous that he got the bag. Now you got the bag. They make money in WWE, but it's you're tearing up your body and it's not a ton of money. And it's I could just be an actor and get paid out the ass. Why would you not do? I mean,
right.
That was. Hey, I was really jealous of The Rock. Said some shit about how he turned his back on us, but in reality, I was just jealous of him. Now that I'm on the other side of the fence, it's kind of nice.
Bag is pretty nice.
Bag is pretty nice. Yeah.
The other, and this is not news, but this is actually something maybe to talk about. I did not read the clickbait, but it's a Screen Rant clickbait article. 8 Fast and Furious characters who could be Dom's replacement in a soft reboot without Vin Diesel. So this is just hey, eventually Dom's not going to be around these movies anymore. Who?
What is it? It's going to be Statham, The Rock,
do you want to
Brian.
Guess?
Yes. Is it people that are already in the movies?
Yes,
or just
all existing actors who could, take over. So it's a weird list, man. So guess.
Is it?
Guess
That's
one.
what I'm saying. Because this is, some Indonesian child that wrote this for 15 cents.
Well, ChatGPT probably wrote it, but yes.
Yes. I said The Rock, Statham.
No and no.
A CGI Brian's played by Cody Walker.
Nope.
Who the fuck is on this list then? I thought that I was gonna get 6 off the rip and then just go. Jason Momoa.
Number 1 on the list, they go from 8 to 1, Dante Reyes. Dante might be a villain in Fast 10 and one of the franchise's most sadistic bad guys, but based on their history, the odds of him joining Dom's team are high.
Okay,
Even
yeah.
Cypher, willing to kill Dom's son, the overarching series villain, became an ally. Dante could similarly become one of the good guys. Given his bankability and guaranteed audience, the character could replace Dom as the franchise lead. Dante was the best part of Fast 10, as the character was edgy, exciting, and unpredictable, and that's the very kind of protagonist Fast and Furious needs. So you're 1 for 5, but you got the big one. You got number 1. Who else?
I don't know.
Again, keeping in
just read it. Read it.
All right, I'm not going to read everything. Okay, I'll try to skip.
Just hit the list. Get the list.
Number 8, Brian Toretto. Baby Brian. Baby B.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I would have got there. Okay.
Number 7, Isabel Neves.
The
Daniela
Elena's
Melchior.
sister?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Number 6, Tess. Brie Larson.
So these are just all characters from 10. Only 10. Okay.
Number 5, Giselle.
Yeah.
Number 4, Jacob. It's
that
no
would make
secret
sense.
Jacob died in Fast 10, sacrificing himself. However, nobody stays dead. With that in mind, given the character was a hit with audiences, it's likely he'll return too. Number 3, Ramsey.
No, absolutely not.
And number 2, arguably the worst option on this list, Little Nobody.
Oh, Scott. Scott,
Little
no.
Nobody has been an inconsistent part of the franchise. The character is a government law enforcement agent who worked for Mr. Nobody with a seemingly endless amount of vehicles and weapons at his disposal. The character has so much potential to get a bigger role. Given the actors' ages and how they're connected, it's easy to Little Nobody, Tess, and Ramsey forming the new team in the future.
Thank you, ChatGPT, or that small Indonesian child that wrote that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a terrible list. Truly a terrible list.
Yeah.
But, thank you for the
Shit
content.
happens. Yeah.
But that's all the news I saw. Like, there's nothing actually going on. There's nothing new. There's nothing worth talking about. It's just that's
didn't somebody
what's going
say like Hobbs and Shaw should come out soon? Like, wasn't that like one of the first things? Like one of the first bits of news that came out after the writer's strike?
Hobbs and Shaw?
Yeah, like I think that I don't see this. I can't piece together if I saw like an actual thing or like.
You're talking about Hobbs and Shaw. Are you talking about
Yes,
Fast
Hobbs and
10
Shaw.
Hobbs?
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes, Fast 10, the in between movie, right? Because they said that there's going to be like a Hobbs
Reaction
and Shaw.
Rocket was like he's like reading like what's in production and stuff like that, and seemed like some of that, but like the actors are still striking, so I don't know. I think they're maybe writing it, but
Fair.
I have no idea. Because in theory, it's supposed to come out next year. Don't think that's going to happen. We'll see.
Yeah.
But speaking of that man, is Dwayne Johnson still in these movies?
Yes.
Cool.
John Cena is not though,
Ooh. Whoa.
and
Is
he's
The Rock
mad
running for
about it.
president?
I hope so.
We have a Patreon page, toofast2forever.com. Shout out to Cassie Wilson, Nick Burris, Alex Ellen, and Justin Kleinman, and Brian Rodriguez of High School
Ooh,
Slumber
Father
Party.
Brian.
Father Brian, Wes Hampton, Jerry Robinson, Dan the Duke, Hayden Renato D. Donato, Michael McGann, Lane Middleton, Lindsay Lewandowski, Nate Milton of the Kings of Sport, Jason Rainey, Tom Price, Mike Gallier, Josh Buckley of Whole Lot of Wolves, Michael Moser, Christian Larson, Tara New One, Aaron Willosen, Natalie Absolute, and Jessica Collins, a.k.a. Montez. Thank you all for supporting us at the $5 a month level or above. If you want to join in the fun, toofast2forever.com. Also check out our Discord. Did Natalie join the Discord? She emailed us about
she did.
The link was broken, or not broken, it's just like timed out because like Discord links only exist for like 30 days. And so if you want to join the Discord, just email
Send us a
or
message
whatever.
anywhere.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
We also have an email address if you don't want to join the Patreon. Oh, although the Patreon, in the last month or so, we've done bonus episodes on Space Camp, on
Excellent.
Shadow in the Cloud, The Right Stuff.
By the way, all three of these movies way more similar than you would imagine. Mm-hmm. And we've got
compare them
a lot.
Coming up soon on Megaforce. We've got another bonus episode coming up soon on Runaway Train. So there's all these things that are never going to be on the main feed, included even from $1 a month at toofast2forever.com.
Oh, yeah, we got still like a whole list of bonuses coming up. Okay, cool.
We have an email address, though, family@cageclub.me. If you want to email in, family@cageclub.me. Joe, we have 3 emails, 2 from Wes and a quick one from Justin. Justin's subject line, Fast 5. Want to let you know, Hank and I just watched his first Fast and Furious movie. I started with Fast 5. He loved it.
I saw Justin posted on his Facebook. I was so excited for him. We have a new baby in the family.
What if like that list of Screen Rant things was like 8 characters and also this one kid of a listener to a podcast you haven't heard of? The number 0 option is Hank. Hank Kleinman, come take over Dom.
Who was it? Oh, Wes was saying it. Wes was like something about we were talking about how like something in a minute. Like Wes was like, I pointed something out. I sent in an email. Like you'll get to it. It's in Fast 8. You'll get to it in 45 years when you cover it in a minute.
He said 10 years, and I was like, no, Wes.
It's like 45.
45 years.
And then he was like, will you still be doing it? I was like, no, at that point, we'll have to, like, when they reboot the franchise, we have to just hand the podcast over. And I was like, the most likely candidates to be the new hosts are Hank and Brian's daughter. I think that those would be the 2 best candidates.
Even though Brian's daughter is going to inherit High School Slumber Party and Uncle Francis, Mike will still be doing Uncle Francis, but it'll just be with Brian's daughter instead of with Brian.
Yes, exactly, yeah. Hank, if you want to take over too fast, just let us know.
There's no way Hank's listening to this. If he's not even watching the movies, so
That's what
I
I'm
don't listen
saying.
to the podcast.
When in 10 years, when he catches up with the movies and catches up with all the podcast episodes, the offer still stands, Hank. If you want this, just email us at family@cageclub.me and it's yours.
We'll work out an inheritance package. It's going to be good.
Yeah.
We have 2 emails now from Wes. One that he sent in a while ago that just like never made its way to us. He resent it. So this should have been on the last minute episode, but here we are. Shaky Shivers and Arthur Russell. What up, fam?
What up, fam? Oh, Shaky Shivers. Is that the movie?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm excited to hear about this. Okay.
I have no idea when the next Life in the Fast Lane is coming out, but I have a couple of maybe interesting things to share, so I guess you'll get to them now whenever that is, or, 3 weeks later.
Yep.
We saw Sung Kang's directorial debut, Shaky Shivers, last night, which I was saying, I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast. We mentioned this. We've mentioned the movie on the podcast before, but we've not talked about covering the movie.
Tell the story, because it's really funny.
We have another Halloween movie that we're going to cover, which we're doing Monster in the Closet. It's going to come out on Halloween on the main feed. And I was like, should we also do Shaky Shivers? Should we do it instead? And Joe was like, I don't know, we can save it for next year, whatever. I'm like, I'm still going to watch it because it was part of the Hooptober. It's like a bonus movie on Hooptober. And it was on some streamer I hadn't heard of. And I was just like, let me check it out. I can whatever.
We know the day that it comes out. It's like it comes out on, September 18th or whatever.
Something like that, yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let me just, it's out now. I'll do the 1 week free. The whole point of the way that it's promoted is just do the 1 week free trial, try out the new streamer, cancel it, whatever. I'm like, cool.
Yeah, you get to watch the movie for free. There you go.
And then, by next year when we would cover for the podcast, it would probably be elsewhere, at least rentable, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I go to watch it, and I'm just I'm excited. I'm just I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but I'm excited to see, Sung Kang's thing
Sung
or whatever.
Kang's directing
blah, blah, blah.
it. This is sick, yeah.
It was a 1-day premiere on the streamer that is no longer available, and can't watch it. Can't rent it anywhere. Can't even find it illegally to download. It's just nowhere. And I'm like,
does not
Joe,
exist.
Can't do it this year, even if we wanted to. So next year, hopefully, Shaky Shivers. But for now, I didn't realize it wasn't in the original Hooptober note. Hey, you have to watch it on Thursday night or whatever.
On one day. And you know what?
Thing.
Like every great movie, it's only released for 1 day on a streamer that you've never heard of, and then not to be shown again for 3 weeks before Halloween.
Why would you want a spooky movie to be available to people wanting to watch spooky movies on their own time?
I think that that's just a terrible idea. So I think that they did this right, and yes, I'm curious to see what Wes has to say about it.
He said they did a one-night screening event at theaters across the country, and there were a few in Austin showing it. So, okay, so I guess they did a one night in theaters and also one night on streaming. I don't know, man. Whatever. Our theater only had 8 tickets sold. Oh, boy.
Oh, that's a good sign.
I think there was supposed to be a Q&A at one of the LA screenings that I was hoping they'd stream to other theaters, but if there was one, we didn't see it. Based on some recent posts, I think it's maybe going to start streaming soon, but I don't know where or when. But as of when, we'll get to it, as of 2 days ago, no. As of last Friday, whenever, mid-October, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because of that, I don't want to say too much about it in case any listeners want to see it spoiler-free.
I do want to see it, yeah.
Say, as someone who's listened to every episode of Sung's Garage and watched every episode of Card Discussion with Sung Kang, the movie feels very much in line with his sense of humor.
Oh, that's a good review, I think. I think that's both fair and probably good.
The other thing he writes in about is a couple nights ago, we had 2 friends on tour together in Austin. It was a great show. If you ever get a chance to see Chris, Farron, or Diners live, I highly recommend it. But the relevant point is that Diners, fronted by our friend Blue, stayed with us that night, and the next morning we had a conversation about Fast and Furious and Vin Diesel. I didn't know she was a fan of the movies, and she shared a hilarious bit of Vin history with me I'd never heard before.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with Arthur Russell. I wasn't, but he was an avant-garde composer. That's him saying I wasn't. I also don't think I was. He was an avant-garde composer, producer, musician from the 70s until he died in the 90s. Apparently in 1986, Gary Lucas, now a well-known musician, then doing A&R for CBS and a smaller indie label, tried to record and release a single with beats by Russell and rapping by Mark Sinclair, not yet Vin Diesel.
Interesting.
Lucas wrote a lengthy blog post about the whole thing on his site in 2021. He links it there. The post is long and it didn't load properly on my computer. Sweet. But it worked fine on my phone. I copied the second half in the bottom of this email, which is specifically about Vin Diesel and the recording incident, and was very entertaining. However, if you just want to hear the fruits of that recording session between a young Vin and a producer known for his eccentric style and isn't entirely thrilled to be working with Vin, you can check out Gary Lucas's SoundCloud page where he posted it in 2001, second edition, Vin Diesel vs. Arthur Russell. So I have not listened to this yet, but I'm going to put this in the episode description. So if you're out there listening, you want to hear a young Vin rapping.
I wonder what it's about. Is it about his? I have a feeling I know what it's about.
The song is called Second Edition. You think it's about him not fitting into any kind of...
That seems to be kind of his theme at this time, so yeah. I would imagine that the tones and themes of a young Vin rapping are very much Earl Sweatshirt chum.
And And then Wes writes in another email, subject line, a stranger with a connection to F8.
Strangers in my house.
We know that Vin loves music, though. I don't want to brush by that. We know that he loves music. So
No. I know he loves music. I'm sure that he was enjoying doing this. I don't know if anybody else involved was enjoying it.
Do you think doing a song with a young Vin Diesel, like a Mark Sinclair, or a current day Vin Diesel would be a better experience? As a producer,
for me,
the production
that comes out.
If you're an eccentric music producer who kind of seems annoyed by most things, would you rather start with a young upstart Mark Sinclair?
Hands down.
Okay.
Like, if you're too cool for school already, and you're like, I have to record a song with fucking the Fast and the Furious lughead, you'd be like, oh god, this is the worst day of my life. I hate everything.
Fair enough. Wes says, just a quick note about a funny coincidence that happened to me the other day. Mrs. Wes and I were, he was like telling us the story. I'm just like, how does this normally come up? But okay. We had the Austin FC game. We were hanging out in the stands before kickoff. And I started talking to the guy next to me about horror movies. He asked if I'd seen anything new, and I told him about Shaky Shivers. But since no one's heard about it, it's just like, yeah, Wes, that's a dead end. It's just
we discovered and explained why nobody else had ever heard about that or seen that movie besides you. Literally, probably only you and the other 7 people in your theater.
Since no one's heard of it, I prefaced it by asking if he was familiar with Fast and Furious or the character of Han. He laughed and said he had a unique connection, so I started asking questions. He works for a company called Magneto Speed that makes specialty gun and target accessories. They were approached at a big trade show by someone involved with Fate, asking if they had anything unique looking that could be used in the film. He told me they provided the movie with ballistic chronograph, which is a barrel-mounted device that measures bullet speed, visible in the scene where Cypher is showing off all of her weapons and monologuing on her plane.
That's
I tried watching the scene around the 34-minute mark in the director's cut. I think I found it, but they never show the case clearly, and it's hard to positively identify it, but I think this could be an older version of the product. This isn't groundbreaking, he writes. I just thought it was a funny coincidence, and of course I had to explain why I was asking so many specific questions about an anecdote that most people would be with, oh, that's cool, and then move on. But he was very nice about it, and we had a good conversation. So he sends a picture. I'm going to send it to you on Facebook.
Yeah, please.
He highlights, he draws a little red circle around. I mean, to me, it just looks like a gun thing.
Oh, gun thing. I love gun thing.
Where I'd be like, oh yeah, but I'm sure people are just like, oh my god, is that the new ballistic chronograph?
Oh my god.
Is that the Magneto Speed? Is that the 2017?
That's the V. That's the V 1.2. That's not the 1.4. The 1.4 got rid of that little back piece. You see?
Yeah,
they refined.
It was better. I think it was better, but it was hard.
You can't make fun of the gun nerds when we're doing this.
Look, I get it.
We're in the shit right now. It's the same thing.
So I was Googling walkie-talkies to figure out what the walkie-talkie was in the cup holder in the minute 94, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
I know.
But yes, I do like laughing at the gun nerds for no reason.
I'm laughing at them because what we do is insane. This is insane. I feel like to a certain extent, covering all Zac Efron's movies or doing a book club podcast is still a thing that not normal people do, but it's oh yeah, I want to watch all of his movies and just see what's up.
Yeah.
Oh,
talk to my buddy.
The Fast and Furious movies on repeat and also breaking them down minute by minute, and then what?
Yeah,
you've done 325 of these? Oh yeah, plus another 50 in the Patreon. Why?
Why? Yeah. Why?
I don't know, man. Because we didn't want to watch, Derby Stallion again.
Yeah, fuck. I know, right? Or fucking War of the Worlds for Channing, where he's not in it.
Honestly, one of my best New Year's Eves. I was just ODing on candy and looking for Channing in a movie that he was cut out of.
Yeah, and then
doing an hour-long episode of it.
No, the CNN broadcast
also
the top part of the thing.
But thank you, Justin. Thank you, Wes, for writing in. Family at Cage Club. I mean, also, Larson, if you are listening, Larson sent in an email about his Patreon bonus episode of Runaway Train, which I'll read on that episode.
Oh, cool.
I'm not going to read it, before we see it, before we talk about it. So I'll read on that episode. But in case he's where's my email? I have that one. That one got to me. But also, if you've emailed it and we haven't read it, there's not emails that I don't read. And Wes is you missed my email. I was I never got it. So
yeah, it's not being skipped or passed on. So.
It seems like maybe because he sent it without a subject line, something somewhere flagged it as spam.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I forward stuff to my Gmail. It wasn't in my Gmail. It wasn't in the Cage Club webmail thing that I use. So Zero idea. I don't know. But family at cageclub.me. We also have a store, cageclub.me/shop. We sold 2 things last month, Joe. I got the $6 from T Republic, whatever it is.
George Pickens.
You and I bought, and one George Pickens shirt. But they're still out there if you want to buy our weird merch.
Nice. Beautiful.
All right, Joe, the final thing to do before we pack up shop and come back next episode is extracurricular activities. What have you been up to in the last 3 weeks?
Rachel and I have been watching a lot of scary movies, usually franchise ones, but this year we've started at least at 2. So we're not doing the originals.
Okay.
So we've been watching, we watched Scream 2 through 5. We watched Halloween. No, not yet. We mix them up, cut them in. We watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, not the original.
Let's watch largely shitty movies.
Yes. Yeah. And we're really greatly enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. Halloween, like I said, you were talking about Halloween 3 the other morning. I started it. Then we picked it for Film Club. It was a resounding success, it seems. Everybody seems very confused why people love it's. Halloween 3 is pretty much the Tokyo Drift of Halloween, right? It's almost 1-to-1 comparable.
And it's also the third one. Yes, that's a good comparison.
Yeah, so if for some reason you haven't seen Halloween 3 yet, listener out there, give it a shot. Doesn't have Michael Myers. It's wacky as fuck. It's a third one. Doesn't really play into any other movie. It's one of my favorites. It's really off the rails and is zany and fun, so I like Halloween 3.
Are there any movies that you guys have watched that even you're like, this is bad?
Yeah, there's parts of some that I'm like, I don't know about this,
okay.
But I can't there's definitely ones that we start watching them and Rachel, I'll be like, Rachel, let's start this. And she's like, I can't do campy shit like that tonight. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Rachel's very anti-80s camp. This is a battle we have in our house.
Well, also, Rachel, I'm sure she's brought it up to you, but I've been texting her because the new
we started it last night.
Show.
We started it. We got through half of the first episode.
I texted her and just happy Fall of the House of Usher Day. Are you even going to try to make Joe watch it? Or are you just going to binge it? She's like, I don't have time to watch stuff by myself. I need to make him watch it. I'm just like, good luck. Because she texts me once a year. She'd be like, Joe is driving me crazy. I want to watch House of Haunting Hill or whatever. Haunting of Hill House.
It's that Tucker and Dale versus Evil. She always tries to get me to watch that. She's tried it 50 times. It's every 2 years. She's like, you should just give it a shot.
You would like Tucker and Dale.
I don't. That's the part.
Really?
That's the point. Yes, I've watched the beginning of it 30 times, playing this experiment with her, and I'm like, it doesn't hit for me.
No, but you need to get it does. The movie doesn't really start till half an hour in.
Okay, that's fine. I give up by then.
You're just stuck in the setup. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
But Rachel has one of her favorite things. These Mike Flanagan shows. A lot of people love them, and she's just Joe will not watch these with me. I'm just good luck.
Meanwhile, I loved Midnight Mass. I really, really liked Midnight Mass.
Oh. Yeah, I haven't. Did you like the first? Did you enjoy? I didn't watch any of it yet. Did you like the first half of the first episode?
I don't know. I was very intoxicated, so maybe.
Yeah, easy.
Exactly. Okay, so we've been doing that. Hockey season is back. So fantasy hockey is back. Watching the Penguins, that's enjoyable. They're not a bunch of fucking bums this year.
Hey, there you go.
We got a new
I know the
GM.
Devils won their opener too.
Yeah, the Devils should be pretty good. The Penguins had our old GM was you know what we should do is we should play shitty 80s hockey and just get the oldest, slowest, biggest guys we can. That's how we're going to build this team for success.
Sweet.
It's miserable to fucking watch. But we got Kyle Dubas from Toronto, who they kicked out for God only knows what fucking reason. He came in and he was like, hey, we'll be old, but let's get guys that are just fast and good. And I was what a revolutionary idea.
Whoever could have imagined it.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited for hockey season right now.
It's also funny that, the Devils, one of the most successful Devil teams in our life was, their, neutral zone trap team.
Most
just,
miserable team
this
to
is
watch.
The worst kind of hockey to watch. But, they were really good at it. But it's just,
yes.
Man, what are you doing?
In hilarity reciprocal news, the Washington Capitals have decided that that's going to be their strategy this year, which
sweet.
Brings me great joy. So they decided that they also want to be very old and very slow, but except they chose players that aren't even very skilled to fill out their roster. It's a blast to watch. My friend is ripping his hair out. He went to their opening night game, which was against the Penguins. Penguins 4-0. He sat through a nice shutout against his team on opening night against
Beautiful.
the team that
You'd
he
love to see
hates
it.
and me. Yeah. Intangible things. I had a fun little Friday. So this Friday was Friday the 13th as we're recording. And I went down to go visit resident historian Mike Manzi at his tattoo shop that he works and snuck a tattoo in. Both Rachel and I got spoopy tattoos for the season.
Very cool.
I shared some pictures of it in the Discord. It was a blast. It was cool to see Mike. The tattoo shop is cool. The guys that do the tattoos, the guy that did ours is buddies with Mike because they like hang out there all the time. Super good guy. Great work. Great experience all around. Left there, awesome. And because I was so close, I got to come see you. And Joey and I had a little bit of nachos together. Some chose for Joe's. I didn't eat a nacho, but Rachel and
Did you
Joey
like it?
did.
Was it good? Did you like it?
I did. It was
You didn't
really
have
good.
But you had the quesadilla, though. Do you like
Case
the food?
of dill. Case of dill, indeed. So,
Yeah, the place that we ate at was a place that I only have like breakfast burritos, and they were delicious. And I'm like, I'm sure
they're
that
good.
their real food is not the real food, but like their dinner food was also good, and like it was. So I had a really good time. We all had leftovers to take home. It was delicious.
delightful indeed. Then yesterday, I went to go visit my buddy Matt that I've talked about before is up from Atlanta.
Very
I
cool.
got to see him Thursday. They came over and watched Thursday Night Football. And yesterday we went to go celebrate his cousin Adam's 40th birthday at a brewery. So I had a little bit of socialization this weekend, and that was enough people for me. Today, I'm going to do nothing but sit at my house and talk to Joey and then be done.
Yeah, sweet.
But I do have two things that I wanted to say.
Okay.
I've been putting this off for a while.
Oh, is this what you messaged me about?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I have two top tier Joe shares for you guys. Okay. First one, fried mush. Do you know what this is, Joey?
No, it sounds gross.
Do you know what scrapple is?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, wait.
Scrapple, for people who don't know, is the parts of the pig that is not good enough to go into sausage.
Yes, and then they mix it with cornmeal, and they like solidify it into a brick. They cut it into slices.
It's basically only
fry
really eaten in like Pennsylvania, not like a
Essentially.
Pittsburgh thing, but like Pennsylvania. It's like this is like it's a Northeast, but like specifically kind of Pennsylvania thing. Yes,
Specifically
okay.
Pennsylvania. I am not the biggest scrapple fan, okay?
I've never had it. I'm judging a thing that I've never eaten, but just the idea of it, I'm just like, I don't want this.
Okay, but here, I'm going to pitch you on something better.
Yeah.
Fried mush. So what fried mush is, it's very much like scrapple without all of the parts of the pig that couldn't make sausage. So
Okay.
what you normally do is you make cornmeal kind of like grits or polenta, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. You know, make them thick and pasty, put them in a log, put them in the fridge. But you can also just buy like one of those like logs of polenta. Have you ever seen these? They kind of come in like a hamburger meat, kind of like log.
I'm looking at Google now. Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
You
Okay,
see what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just plastic and tied at the ends. You can take one of those and you just slice it into like, I don't know, maybe like 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thick pieces. You just fry it in butter and then you cover it with whatever the fuck you want. And you just get the edges like golden brown and crispy. And then I usually put butter and syrup on it. It's a top tier breakfast. Check this out. You can, if you don't want it to be sweet with syrup, you can use like whatever the fuck you want. Whatever you want. Like Rachel used gravy on some of them this morning. Wild idea, but send it. My grandma used to eat it with grape jelly. I've seen people do all kinds of wild shit. Fried mush. This
So
is
is fried mush
Midwesty shit.
a name for a thing that you came up with, or that it was already existed that you just like you're making?
It is sold in diners and restaurants in
As fried
Pennsylvania
mush.
as fried mush. Got it.
That's
the name for it. Excellent, top tier. That's my food cultural share of the day.
Okay.
My other cultural share, because this also passed the Rachel test. My aunts and grandma used to have this thing in their house, okay? And it's called a lawn goose. Mm-hmm. Do you know what a lawn goose is, Joey?
No.
There's two versions. There's a plastic or a cement lawn goose, okay? And it's
Is it exactly what you think it is?
It's exactly what you think it is. It's like
It's like a lawn flamingo, but a goose.
A lawn flamingo, but a goose. The cool thing about this is that there was a point in time, and still now, that there would be like stores in the mall that would sell little outfits for your goose. Okay. So you would get this stupid lawn goose, and then you would dress it up like the Easter Bunny, or like Santa Claus, or like a turkey for Thanksgiving. And my grandma had all these outfits. And one night we were drunk, and I started explaining this to Rachel because the thought just popped in my head. And she was like, this is some of the wackiest shit I've ever heard. There's like, what are you talking about? And I like told her to Google it, and she looked up all these pictures, and she started cackling. So I now have a lawn goose. I think everyone should have a lawn goose. It's a really fun idea. I'm sure that they make like little like Yankees uniforms for your lawn goose if you wanted, Joey. Or, you know, ballerinas, whatever. There's a whole bunch of costumes for them. And it's like a bunch of like, you know, Midwesty ladies that just like knit on Etsy. And mine is wearing a Steelers sweater that has a little football attached to its hand. And I have my Steelers lawn goose that's currently living in the living room because we got the plastic one. And we have to fill her with sand so she doesn't just like yeet herself into the wind. She might fly away, literally. So we have to stop that.
If you Google lawn goose Yankees, there's the top 6 are all different Etsy shops, or 5 of the top 6 are all different Etsy shops.
Are there cool? Are there cool ones?
I mean, they're fine. Like, there's some that are nicer than others, but yeah, you just need one. There's a Mets one that's like below that actually looks nicer than the Yankees ones, but.
Oh yeah. See, yeah, and if you really wanted, you could make your own clothes for it. Highly recommend a lawn goose. It cracks me up. It's fucking weird. There's like an official company that like makes the lawn goose and like a bunch of uniforms for it. You could make Uncle Sam, whatever. Go look up lawn gooses, get a chuckle.
Sweet.
Possibly buy one. It's like $30 or something stupid.
Cool.
If you really want to enjoy a stupid thing.
I like that you're like, don't Google these things. I'm going to talk about them, but like they're exactly what I would have. Like fried mush, you're just like, okay, so it's just like
some gross food.
Yep. And then
no, but it's good.
Like, got it. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else of note in the last couple of weeks or no?
No, but I felt like it's been a long time since I did a cultural weird share. So that's you get a bonus cultural weird share today.
Oh. I've also been working through Hooptober. Nothing really strong. I mean, like I saw this movie yesterday called The Devils, which is like I think hard to find. I don't remember where I found it.
The Devils. Is it Seinfeld? Just David Puddy yelling about hockey?
No, it's not. It's a movie from 1971 that was banned in multiple countries because it was like too anti-churchy, where like nuns are having sex with like a Jesus statue.
Oh, yeah.
There's like, I found some like work print online or something where there's like, it's mostly the movie, and then there's like different versions of it that like have things like when the film grain, like the stock changes, it's like, oh, this was the thing that was banned in countries, and like someone found like footage somewhere and like sliced it into the movie. So it's wild. It's really good. But that's from 1971. It's like set in like the 1600s or whatever, but there's like some dudes who just like look like they're from 1971. Like they're just like they look like they're John Lennon. It's just like, okay, like just you didn't even try to like look like you're from the 1600s, which, you know, fun. But I'm still working through Hooptober like that. I did see in theaters a movie called The Royal Hotel, which is really good. Okay, so this is actually kind of funny. You'll probably appreciate this. Maybe you're not gonna like the movie, so don't go to the movie. But remember when you saw, or what we talked about, not when you saw, but when you were at the beach or whatever, and those ladies were like, I don't like Barbie, blah, 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 blah. Right?
I will never get that 2 hours of my life back.
So there's this movie called The Royal Hotel. So there was like 3 or 4 years ago, there was a movie called The Assistant, which was directed by this woman, Kitty Green, and stars this woman, Julia Garner, who is from... Julia Garner is, I think, probably best known for being in Ozark. She was in The Americans. She's been in a bunch of different stuff. She's got the really frizzy blonde hair. Like she's a young actress. Great, whatever. So The Assistant was a movie basically where she plays like the assistant to like a high-powered kind of Harvey Weinstein type person, and like it's just like a very tense like 85-minute movie about like it's awful to be a young woman in New York. Like this is like it's like nothing really. It's sort of spoilers. Like nothing really happens.
On the note of Barbie, I feel a lot of violence all around me at all times.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
This feels very violent. Yeah,
but it's just like it's like a thing where just like she's just like on edge of the office the entire time, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And like it's just like, oh, like this is it's so well made, it's so well acted, it's great. Same director, same actress, do a new movie called The Royal Hotel. And this one is about 2 girls, this girl Julie Garner and another girl, Jessica Henwick, who was in The Matrix. Oh god, what's the new one? Resurrections. She's also been in a bunch of different stuff. She was in Game of Thrones. She was like one of the sand, like the slaves or whatever, like the sand people. Like instead of like Jon Snow, like their last name was Sand, whatever. She's been in a bunch of different stuff, right? And this movie is them on vacation in Australia, and they run out of money, and they need to take a job in the rural whatever of Australia.
Oh, okay.
But they're like, just so you know, like it's a mining town. There's basically no other women there. Are you okay with like a little bit of extra male attention? They're like, yeah, we'll find it's 2 weeks, whatever. So the whole thing is like, again, how tough it is to be a young woman in the world, and like how men are just terrible, whatever.
Yeah.
So we watched the movie. Bob and I, because Bob and I do a episode of the podcast. We go see the movie because like only in indie theaters, whatever. We come back, or we leave the theater, and we're like, that's pretty good. And then in the lobby, there were 4 or 5 older women who were just like, "Can any of you tell me what that movie was about?"
Ah.
And they're like, "No, I thought I missed something." And the other one just like, "No, I was so confused." I was like, what is there to be confused about? It's just like...
It sounded like you were describing a very direct story. It just
like
happened.
You see 2 young, cute girls basically being like sexually harassed and ogled for like 90 minutes. And like, it's like, yeah, there's not really like a plot, like a story, but like, it's clear what this is about. And just when I heard this, like, I was trying so hard not to just like burst out laughing in front of them.
Oh, I laugh in people's faces, and it gets that's my intrusive thoughts getting through.
But like, we got out of the theater, and I turned to Bob, I'm just like,
"Do you hear that shit?"
He's like, "I don't think it was like what, like I don't even know like how you could be confused." I don't know. It was just very funny. But I was just thinking about like, and then I remembered your like old like just they understood Barbie, they just hated Barbie. But this is just like they didn't seem like they hated or didn't, but they're just like, I don't know. What was that about? It's like, you're a woman in the world. Like, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Wild.
These are the ones that always get me. I'm like, this was a movie for you. You didn't see anything that you've experienced in this movie. Like, I saw the things that you should see. How did you not see?
There was a movie that came out a year or two ago called Men. Oh, Alex Garland directed, of course, with Jesse Buckley. And like, it's just, and Rory Kinnear. No, is it Rory Kinnear? Somebody plays like all these different dudes who like, this girl is just like, this young woman is trying to like, in like the English countryside and just trying to like have a weekend away, and all these dudes around her are just like harassing her, right? It's just like, it's like, hey, like, you know, don't you're alone out here, like, don't you want like company or whatever? It's like, it's all like quote unquote innocuous stuff that she's just like being harassed by.
Hey man, I'm just a nice guy.
I cracked myself up in the theater because I'm thinking about, like, not again like the woman thing, but just like, I'm thinking of some dude watching this movie and like siding with the men and being like, fuck's this girl's problem? Like, just watching a movie that's like very clearly, like, maybe too on the nose about like what it's about, but like, you know, telling an important story, whatever. Like, I love Men, and I really like The Royal Hotel too, but I'm just like, it's so funny to be like, there's nothing wrong with these dudes' behavior. And it's just like, well, no, they're... But
this woman is exactly what's wrong with what we deal with. You know, like, I would rather them come out and be like, yeah, finally they got it.
Yeah.
Look at this bitch.
I think it's just funny that we're like, why do they recap? We talk about this a lot. Why do they recap every Fast and Furious movie and every one? Because like most people who see movies are like this. They're just like, what is that movie about? It's like, I don't know. Being a young girl in the Australian outback is going to get you raped or killed, maybe. Like, that's what this movie is about.
It's vaguely threatening to be a lone woman.
Jesus Christ. But I was just like, come on, ladies. Anyway, that was fun. I saw the Eras Tour in theaters twice.
How was that? When I saw it on the news, they answered my question. They were like, singing and dancing was encouraged, because Taylor saw it, and I think in New York with one of the morning show.
Yes,
she was in the crowd too. Taylor was sitting there watching the Eras Tour, singing.
Oh, she was singing, dancing along in the. I saw that. Yeah, of course.
In the thing, bro. We've alternate universe just. Her and Kanye have just flipped, right?
Yeah.
And what a dynamic pair. The interlink between them, and that like it came together, the black hole, and then expanded.
Hey Kanye,
again.
I'm gonna let you finish, but just so you know, Beyonce.
You remember it's the Aziz Ansari bit when he's like, "Are you singing along to your own songs in your own house, bopping your own head?" And he's like, "Yeah, this shit is dope." It's like, Taylor, are you singing along to your own songs that you wrote watching a concert of you performing the songs, dancing along to the dances that you're dancing?
I think part, like, it is... Okay, so the big takeaway from the movie is that even though she's the most famous woman on the planet, wealthier than almost everybody on the planet, she's a fucking dork. Like, she is just a dork. Like, she is...
I find it very unendearing, but yes, okay.
But, like, it's to the people who like her, it is very endearing, but it's just like
I
over
understand.
and over again, she does things where just like that feels so on brand. And I don't think that I don't think it's an act. I think she's just...
I don't think it's an act. I think she's just genuinely just like some weird theater girl that eventually started writing music or something, right?
And I
like
think
that's
part
what
of it is like she's done this 3-hour-long show for like a year, right? And like probably hearing the songs like it just, and she, whatever. Anyway. It's obviously great. They cut a couple songs, but nothing, bad. I think what my big takeaway from it is that having seen it in person, being close, you somehow lose the scale and the scope. like you're closer to her, and it's a better view, and like the sound is perfect, and like everything's amazing.
You don't see that it's 80,000 people every night.
Right. And there's sometimes like you zoom out and like they zoom around, you're like, oh right, like this is like an event, but like you're so close on her or the band or whatever, and just like, yeah, this is great. Like it's a great thing to watch, but like there's something just like, oh, you lose
scale.
It's just like, oh wow. Because like I don't know that I've ever seen a concert film of a concert, like of a tour that because I've seen a lot of concert films, like never for a tour that I've been at. And so this is a weird kind of experience. So I also think in the like Taylor as like a marketing genius, like very good at like her brand and like whatever, I think she kind of fumbled for the first time that I can remember, because on Wednesday of last week, or this past week, she had the premiere in LA, right? They showed the film. They invited all the top Taylor influencers, like all the Instagram people who like, they're all there. Like it's just like,
genius.
It's become like a
super
thing,
smart
right?
for her. Yep.
On Wednesday, the 11th, 2 days before, they're like, hey, guess what? Because so many people want to see it, we're going to open a day early tomorrow. Tickets are on sale. They don't even give a ticket time. They're like, tickets going to be on sale by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, this is a bad idea.
It's a horrible idea.
Because people, I think, probably when tickets went for sale, groups
or
of Taylor,
is this the best idea? Did they just dildo everybody into buying tickets the day before and the next day, and you're just boned? Go ahead.
Because so I think when tickets went on sale, a bunch of like groups of Swifties were like, we're gonna get dressed up. Friday the 13th, 6 o'clock showing. We're going to be there. We're going to sing along to every song. We're going to have a great night.
Yes.
And then 2 days before, they're like, you can go tomorrow. And all these girls are like, no, I have planned. We have tickets, right? Like we have tickets for Friday.
So they didn't adjust? Like the crowd didn't like, we're going to just go to Thursday and fuck them.
So I'm going to text there with my friend Lily and my sister, and they're like freaking out about like all, like they're like, I'm just like, I can't deal. Like I love Taylor Swift. I'm just like, I can't be on the Swift Talk. It's just too much for me. And so they're freaking out, like, tickets are on sale, like they're going to be tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And so I go with Lily, like Lily and I are just like, we'll go tomorrow because I want to see it with her. And we couldn't see the show together or whatever.
Yeah.
And we go to the theater and it's 20% full.
So the experience probably wasn't very great, to be honest. Because like you want to see that in a full.
Now. But yeah, exactly. That's
you want to see it in a full theater, sing along with everybody that didn't go to the concert or did go to the concert. Yes. So
when I was like, oh, you and I can meet you guys for dinner because like I'm seeing Taylor on Thursday. But then I saw it on Thursday. I'm like, this is great. I'm glad that I saw it, Lily. Like we were talking, having a good time, whatever. But I'm just like there were two girls in the middle who were like standing up and dancing and singing along. And that was cool. And there was a guy next to me who was like singing or whatever. Like people were having fun, but it's just like the row of like 30 seats, our row had 5 people in it. I'm just like, this is so weird.
And you're watching like a very packed, very grand scale concert in a very empty theater. And you're like, this doesn't fit.
And so I wanted to go see it again, like with a full, like on opening night. So like instead of like a 6 o'clock showing like I was going to, I was just like, I swapped my ticket for like a 9 o'clock and I went there and I was just like, yeah, like it's still good. Like it's better with a packed crowd. But then there's also like a 10-year-old girl who was like not singing, but she was screaming like a blood curdling scream every lyric. And I'm just like,
yeah, see, Joey, that is precisely what I never want to experience. This is why I say when I die and go to hell, that is the experience I will have.
But like, so there was a girl like a couple seats down from me who was like singing, like she had like a cowboy hat, like she had like a whole outfit, whatever, and she was like having a great time. She was singing along. She like that was beautiful. Like
I'm sick of the fucking costumes, dude. Stop cut the fucking. I'm sick of fucking costumes for everything. If you want to wear a costume, wear a fucking costume. You don't need an excuse to. If you want to wear a cowboy hat, wear a cowboy hat. You do not need a movie to come out.
Don't gatekeep fandom, man.
I'm not gatekeeping I'm gatekeeping costumes. I'm fucking sick of it.
She was having a great time, and then she stopped singing and heard the girl, and even she was just like, Jesus.
Bitch, shut up,
like, just like, whoa. But this girl was like, not every lyric, but like, for maybe an hour of the 3 hours, like, screaming, just like, oh boy. But like, she's like, a child, like an actual child. I'm just like, come on, like, let's, like, she's having a good time. Like, I don't want to, like, whatever. I'm just like, what is going on here?
I think you're gatekeeping fandom.
No,
costumes are okay, but screeching is not, Joey. Maybe that's how she expresses her costume. It was part of her costume. That's what she wore to Taylor Swift Eras movie. A loud voice.
The girl probably can't talk 2 days later, just like vocally dead. It's great. I mean, it's awesome. It's an experience. So go see it. Or not you, but like just people in general.
I'm definitely not watching this ever.
And also, in terms of gatekeeping fandom, I also saw Boy Genius again because they were playing MSG. And this was
fun. At MSG, was it good?
Yeah, it was great. It was the best of the 4 shows that I've seen them.
Awesome. Cool.
I had been checking prices for like a month or 2 months. I'm just like, these tickets are too expensive. And then I didn't realize until the day of the show that it was the day of the show. And I'm like, oh.
I should check tickets to see if anybody bailed this morning.
And so like they were going down and I was just like, all right. So like I finally, there's a ticket. I was just like, maybe like it was like lower bowl at MSG, like midway up the lower bowl. I'm just like, all right. And like it wasn't, I don't know what face value was, but I don't think it was crazy over face value. And I had StubHub credits, so I actually got the ticket for free.
Oh, awesome.
Like, oh, all right, cool. So I had a great time. And they, they had a new EP come out this past Friday with 4 new songs, and they played
so you got to
those for
see
the first
new
time.
songs. That's cool.
And the only other thing that I've done really of note is the new Forza that came out. And I was messaging Alex Ellenin on Instagram. I'm like, are you going to play this? He's like, I don't know. He and I both love Forza Horizon, which is like an open world, kind of like more arcadey thing. This is like a more.
This is funny. You and I have talked about this too, because I like driving sims. Or
this is much closer to that.
Sims.
It's not sim, but it's way closer to sim than arcade. And I'm like, kind of boring. It's not boring, but like it's good. It's just not like my favorite kind of game. And then, but it's also just a way for me to like play it on mute, do something with my hands and my brain while I listen to a podcast or music or whatever, which is nice. But it's good. I mean, it's free on Game Pass, so if you want to go there. But like, what's kind of funny is for Horizon and then also for Starfield, like there's these like, big blockbuster games or whatever that you can pay $30 or $40 and get like the season pass of DLC and like early access or whatever. And they did that for this one too.
Yeah.
And I looked at it and I'm just like, because I would love to play it early, whatever. And it's just like, you get more cars. And I'm like, nope, don't want that. Already enough cars. Don't care. It's not like DLC, like cool new areas. It's not like early access and like whatever. It's just like you get to play 2 days early and you get new cars. And I'm like, no.
$30? Nope.
I will play for free and pay $0.
Exactly.
And that's what I did. The weather is no longer brutal. It's now beautiful out almost every day, which is nice.
I love it. Yeah, fall. I am a fall boy. You know that. I'm big into fall.
You are truly a Fallout boy.
I am a Fallout boy.
Wait, do you know where the name Fallout Boy came from?
No, I don't. Tell me.
The Simpsons reference.
Is it?
Radioactive Man's sidekick is Fallout Boy. Do you know Radioactive Man?
No.
Radioactive Man is a comic book that Bart is obsessed with, and they have an episode where they audition kids to play Fallout Boy, and Bart thinks he's going to get it, and then Milhouse gets it instead. But yeah, Radioactive Man's sidekick is Fallout Boy, and so that band that a lot of angsty teens love or loved is named after a Simpsons thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
Like, All Panic is just Chuck Palahniuk.
I Write Sins Not Tragedy is, I think, Invisible Monsters, maybe. But yeah, it's just like, all these people are just like, that's the kind of thing where it's like, I don't love those bands, but like, I love that they like cool things. You know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
I like Panic and I like Fall Out Boy. We listened to a lot of them back in the day. We did.
Yeah. But that's basically it for this episode. So we have coming up soon the bonus episode of The Right Stuff. Our Halloween episode next week is Monster in the Closet. Another bonus of Megaforce. And then we're back to our normal, regularly scheduled thing with The Fate of the Furious coming out in November. But Joe, anything else to say before we end the episode?
I hope all of you eat some fried mush for breakfast and buy a lawn goose by the end of the day.
And join the Discord. And show us pictures of both.
Yeah, and you can see pictures of my new tattoo then.
For all things Too Fast, Too Forever, go to cageclub.me, facebook.com/TooFastTooForever, or at TooFastTooForever on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, and wherever else. Email us, family@cageclub.me. Check out our Patreon page at TooFastTooForever.com and our store at cageclub.me/shop. If you've not yet left a review for us on Apple Podcasts, please do that. That'd be very nice of you. And we'll see you next time for Monster in the Closet on Halloween. So spooky. I think this movie's going to be bad, but I'm going to enjoy it because it's going to have like a 10-year-old Paul Walker. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too.
And we will tell you all about it
when we see you